When we started in 2013 with a dance. And what were we tasked to do? We had 6 major tasks. 1, we were supposed to influence policy and practice to support local governments. All policies, as many policies as possible that impact local governments. 2, to strengthen the accountability chain. And you have seen the accountability actors here this morning. 3, to strengthen local government leadership, financial management, planning and budgeting. And the PS ably described the pillars of local government and told you that those are 3 of the 6 pillars of local governance in Uganda. 4, we were supposed to nurture community voice. Community voice, community meaning the ordinary woman in the street in a patch. That was what we were supposed to nurture. The ordinary woman in Kole district. Nurture community voice. 5, strengthen the organizations or the civil society organizations that work with these groups. And 6, support leadership and accountability in the Ministry of Health. Now, we supported 3 of the 6 pillars, but our results show that in general terms, our districts did pretty well. In terms of the national average, 78% of GAPP-supported districts were above the national average, 78%. And 50% of the municipalities. In terms of the top performing 10, the best 10, 5 were GAPP districts. In terms of the district's average score, what was the average score of the districts? 64% in GAPP districts, but the national average was 56%. And in municipalities, the GAPP municipality average was 60%, and the national average was 53%. So we think that we did contribute in some way to performance. And maybe over time, we'll learn more what worked, what didn't work, what works better. But these are some of the results.
DFID and USID support through GAPP for us was a very fundamental change. We took time and analyzed what are the issues that are affecting the service delivery in health sector. And we analyzed it and we made a diagnosis, proper diagnosis. The first sickness that we diagnosed was defective Finance and Management Act. The Finance and Public Finance Management Act looks at the legalities, the bureaucracies, the processes. It does not look at results. As government, if we are going to make changes in our government, in service delivery, we must go beyond the legalities. We must look at the better good, the greater good, and the result. And that one, it is a serious chain. We are tied like this. What if DFID and USID did not come to my rescue? How will we save? That is just a small fraction, ladies and gentlemen. I have got a whole list here, those of you who want to know. I want to thank partners for being flexible. That when we knocked at your door, desperate, you answered us. But we are like Oliver Twist. You cannot abandon us in the middle of the road. We know that you are finishing this, but DFID, please, USID, we need your assistance.
The OAG is mandated to carry out audits across government of all public institutions. As I sit on my desk as Assistant Auditor General Audit, I have lots of things that go through my mind. And most important is that I want to produce audits that have impact. I want audits that lead to improvements in lives of citizens. I want audits that are comprehensive enough to provide the necessary assurance to the citizens of Uganda. The problem OAG has been having over time, however, is that we have had a need to improve on the relationship with our clients, with Parliament, with the citizens, to enable us focus our audits better. We have had a problem with the demand, the downward demand of accountability by citizens. Because you will agree with me that in Uganda, citizens sometimes do not understand that the money that is being spent by government is actually their money, and they need to demand for accountability for that money. So there's been non-consumption and discussion of reports of the Auditor General, especially in local authorities, and the value for money reports that we produce. We had also a lot of backlogs of audits, especially in local governments and lower local governments. And that is how GAPP jumped in. And GAPP came in to help us strengthen that accountability chain and ensure that the downward demand for accountability by citizens is improved upon. Through GAPP, we had a lot of outputs. What GAPP did for us was help us on improvement of understanding of the Office of the Auditor General's reports at regional levels and at local levels. They carried out a lot of open forums with the involvement of local government personnel, district public accounts committees, opinion leaders, and civil society.
Through GAPP funded two of our most important initiatives. One of the initiatives was on enhancing transparency and accountability in Uganda's extractive sector. And the second one was Local Government Council's Scorecard Initiative. I'll start with the Local Government Council's Scorecard Initiative. When GAPP came on, we were able to expand the coverage in this country, and we have been in 35 districts around this country, well distributed across the country. But the funding from GAPP helped us to cover the north a lot and some parts of southwestern of Bunyoro sub-region. We have been able to see improvement in terms of council debates, because decentralization had empowered local governments, especially their councils, to be small parliaments, to be able to discuss issues of development at that level. And so through the support that we have received from GAPP, we have seen a lot of improvement in the council debates. Before we went down there, most of the councils would debate about the color of the car of the chairperson, its size. They would discuss about whether the communities, the citizens would discuss whether the councillor comes to bury their dead, whether the councillor attends weddings and that kind of thing. But through this intervention, we have seen a lot of improvement in council debates, where the councils are debating the real issues of development. They are discussing budgets. They are discussing issues of service delivery. And we think that that has been very important.
The women in the council are able to articulate on issues that are brought on the floor. The women started debating in council, which was not the case before the training, when we only did and GAPP gave us the report. As the council now for women, we realize that there are other women who are not able to get up on their own and they speak. Then we said it is our duty to give them moral support. So when it is time for council, we would give them, if need be, write for them the points to speak. Then when they get up, we will give them morale. Even before she speaks, the women are already giving serious morale to motivate this woman to speak for the first time. Because we know that if she speaks for the first time, then at the other time she will be able to speak, and the people she represents, their voices will reach the council. This is what Huyone did through the support of GAPP, that the women can now stand up and talk.
Is alive and well. So allow me to recognize the U.S. Local Government Public Accounts Committee of Parliament.
We had never moved any motion that is gender relative or that brings out women issues in council. So the women have moved motions in council. For example, the motions of the washrooms for ladies in Apache district. If you go there, we said out of the monitoring, we identified that as a gender need that was remaining. In schools, the girls don't have washrooms to change when they're in their periods. And for that matter, they would get out of school and not for that period to finish, and then they come back. We move a motion, we said for every construction of the toilets in school and in the market, we need a washroom for ladies. And I can assure you now, if you go to Apache, all the toilets have washrooms for ladies, the new construction. And that is helping, because otherwise we will not get additional funding to construct a different toilet.
My Tax is a solution that was developed by GAPP, and the primary goal of My Tax was to improve fiscal management in local governments. We had issues of poor record management, and this was a very big inefficiency, issues of poor budget management systems, high level of cash transactions. Whatever would reap from the field would be spent almost from the division table. So GAPP identified this as a shortfall, and therefore had to build the capacity of the division to ensure that we streamline all issues relating to local revenue generation. At the time when we started partnership in 2015, the local revenue that the division was generating then was approximately 964 million shillings from local revenue, that's Central Division alone. But the current budget that we have is approximately 1.2 billion shillings. You can see how much we are losing out there. And this was basically because of those challenges that we are meeting.
Signals of having or participated in Zimbabwe, and they were wondering if they are also having oil and gas. When do they hope to see the developments taking place in Zimbabwe?
Before we had training with GAPP, we used to receive reports from the internal audit and the Auditor General, and we would seek guidance from the auditor and at times from CLAB on what issues exactly for the attention of the committee. But with several trainings we have had with GAPP, we don't need the assistance of the auditor, neither the secretariat. Members themselves can sit and generate issues for the attention of accounting officer and the other officers. So that's a very big credit that goes to GAPP.
I have seen GAPP adding on value in our councils. Also, even adoptions of rules of procedure and ensuring that how do we conduct councils? What about the councillors' mandates. How do we deliberate in council? What makes a successful council? Of course, first lives in or rests in having statutory bodies which are functional. GAPP has enabled us and even really been on us. Are they there? If they are there, are they functional? If they are functional, what proves that they are functional? So all this we have seen, and I have realized that in district local government, having members of this service commission is not easy. It is not easy. But to me and even the others, my other colleagues, we have managed to do that.